Hi, welcome to Esther's Laguna Woods Show, where every guest matters. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Paige Chastain, and today we're going to talk about addictions. Hi, Paige.
Hi, Esther. How are you?
So nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming. What is your job description?
So I am a certified drug and alcohol counselor, and what that means is that I counsel clients that have substance abuse addictions, whether it be addictions to heroin, alcohol, pills, anything that they can have an addiction to. I meet with them on a daily basis. I run groups. I help them with resources that they can find in the community so they can have a better life once they leave our treatment center.
What is the most substance abuse that people are addicted to?
Right now, heroin and fentanyl. Those are the two.
Really?
Those are the two biggest.
Really?
They are actually mixing the two. A lot of times, clients don't actually know what they're getting, and that's what's killing them right now.
I would think that it's alcohol.
Well, alcohol is a big deal. With the younger clients, it is the heroin and the fentanyl. With our older clients that we have, it is mostly alcohol. Yeah, and we have clients anywhere from ages 18 up to 63 right now at our center.
Really?
So we don't discriminate by age at all.
So do you treat alcohol and pills or whatever it is differently?
It depends. When they're on pills, we put them on, well, both of them, we put them on a medical detox taper, so they take medication to help them come off of the drug of choice that they're on. Alcoholism is a lot more dangerous than drugs, which a lot of people would not think that, because it affects every part of your body. It affects every cell in your body, and you can very easily seize and die from alcoholism.
Really?
Yes. That
more than heroin?
More than heroin. You can still die on heroin. They do have a drug called Narcan that can be given to clients that are nodding out on heroin, and many times it will bring them back, but many times it won't.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
It's very scary.
It's very scary.
Very scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you treat people with PTSD?
Yes, we do.
What do they suffer the most from?
Well, we have a lot of veterans that we work with, so they have a lot of combat trauma that they've experienced. I have a vet right now that's from Vietnam. We have some that have also been to Iraq. It just depends on what they've experienced and what they've seen overseas. And
Yes.
what they do to not deal with that trauma is to use drugs and drink, so they don't have to feel that pain. So it's really important for them to come into treatment, meet with a therapist, start working through the trauma so they can actually have a better life.
Who is paying for the vets?
The Veterans Administration, right now we're working with Loma Linda, and they send a lot of their veterans to our facility, and they come and stay anywhere from 2 months to 6 months.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that. How long does it take to detox?
Detox is usually anywhere from 7 to 10 days, and it depends on the type of drugs you've been using. If you're using a lot of heroin, a lot of opiates, it's going to take a little bit longer. If it's alcohol, that can take up to 10 days. It can take up to a lot longer. What they have is called PAWS, post-acute withdrawal symptoms. That can last up to a year, and that includes depression, irritability, fatigue, restlessness, bone and joint aches. That can go on for a very long period of time.
How is it done? I mean,
The detox?
Yeah, how is it done?
So when they come into our treatment center, they are seen by a doctor within 24 hours, and they're put on comfort meds to start with. If they're taking opiates, they will be put on a drug called Suboxone, which will help alleviate what we call the kick from heroin, which is very painful. It's just painful throughout their body.
Or alcohol?
Alcohol, a lot of times they're given Librium. A lot of times they just have to sleep it off, for a while.
Really?
They're given other comfort meds as well, to help them feel better. I'm trying to think if we give them Valium. I know we do for the ones with heroin. Sometimes they'll have Valium for a certain amount of time, but we taper them off of that. So they'll start with a certain amount, and then they keep dropping down over the days.
So only for 7 days?
7 to 10 days.
Okay, 7 to 10 days.
Right.
And then they stop all the pills?
They stop all of the detox medications, which are controlled substances.
Yes.
And then once they stop those, they still continue on some medications.
Oh,
They'll
they do, huh?
They'll see a psychiatrist after They see a regular doctor their first 24 hours, then they see a psychiatrist who will put on antidepressants, anti-anxiety, any of that kind of medication. They will stay on that throughout their treatment episode with us.
So what is how long do they stay there? I mean, you just mentioned it, like 2-3 months.
2-3 months, 6 months. We've had people stay for 9 months before. It just depends. A lot of it depends on their insurance. It depends on medical necessity. If we can show medical necessity that they actually need to be in treatment longer, then we will keep them there. Those, especially with PTSD, who participate in EMDR therapy, that takes a long time, and we don't want to start that and then say, okay, bye, after a month you're cured, because you're not.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So what is a typical day?
So a typical day, if they're in detox, they get up, they take their medication, they get something to eat, they go back to bed, they sleep for 7 days. They don't do much of anything.
Wow.
And they get very antsy towards that end, and they want to start doing stuff, so they want out.
Yeah.
Then they go to our residential treatment center, which is another home. And
what do you mean they want out? They want to leave?
They want out of detox because they're bored. They're tired of playing video games. They're tired of watching TV. They're feeling a little bit better.
Is that what they do?
Pretty much, other than sleep and eat.
Yeah.
And once they leave detox, they go to our residential treatment center, which is another home. We have no more than 6 clients there. While they're in residential treatment center, they have we have a therapist, case manager, we have groups, we have sound bath, we have breathworks, we have yoga. All of that is provided within the house for them. They have 1 outing a week, which is usually bowling or they go to the gym a lot too. We try to get them to the gym almost every day.
What if somebody wants to leave? You don't let them?
It's not
like a jail.
Okay, it's not prison, but they kind of are on lockdown. They cannot go out on their own. They have to go out with their peers and with a support staff member. So that does happen. We call it ACA, and that's against clinical advice. So it's our clinical advice that they stay in treatment because they need treatment. We can't stop them. We can't tie them to the bed and hold them there forever. We'd like to, but we can't. So
it's not funny.
It's not. And it's a lot of them they get homesick. They think, I've got this, I'm good, I'm fine. Usually they want to go back out and use again. And that's because when they stop using, all of their emotions start coming up. And so when their emotions and the trauma starts coming up, their first go-to is to use drugs or alcohol to mask that. So they have to work on their emotions, and they have to let that stuff come up. So when they want to leave, there's a team of us, myself included, that try to talk them into staying and try to point out all of the benefits of them staying and all of the consequences of them leaving. We usually call their family member if a family member is on consent. Many times they'll revoke that, so we can't call them, and we can't call anyone that's not on consent. So we try to reason with them, and most times we're successful. I would say most times that we are. But in the end, we can't stop them, and if they want to leave, they want to leave.
The best thing to do is not to go back to the same friends they used to have.
Well, and that's what we try to teach them, and it's really hard. They're like, well, they've been my friends forever, and they were my friends through high school. But they're not, if you want to really look at your friends, they're not really your friends.
They need people they don't use.
Right. They need to build a sober support network. That's why we promote AA. We want them to start reaching out to people that are sober, people that they can pick up the phone and call when they want to use instead of after they use. Because if you call someone before, you get it. Alcoholics have an obsessive mind, and when we obsess over things, that continues. And so if we can talk to someone about it or we can journal about it, then that will help us.
Is that what they do? They like to write?
Oh, I make them write.
You make them write?
That's the first thing they get when they come in is, here's your journal, and I want you to journal every day, and even if you don't want to, I want you to write, I don't want to journal today because, and then see what happens. Sometimes it may be just because I don't want to, and other times they'll write 10 pages. So, yeah, they're always like, wow, I really wrote a lot, and I didn't expect to.
Yeah, it really helps.
Yeah, it really does. It really, really does. It helps with the racing thoughts. It helps with the obsessive thoughts. It helps put their feelings on paper that they maybe don't want to talk to someone about. So
What about people that take sleeping pills? I mean, how can they get the sleeping pills?
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of older people
Right.
that take sleeping pills, and then they realize that they're losing their memory, or they
Right.
can get dementia from that.
So I know a lot of people take Ambien. That's the popular drug. That is one of the most highly addictive drugs that you can take. If you're going to get off of Ambien, you need to do it under a doctor's care, number one.
Yeah.
Melatonin does work. I know a lot of people say it doesn't. Warm milk works. I actually drank some last night, and I was able to go to sleep.
It does work for me
It does,
too.
see?
It really does.
You just add a little bit of sweetener and some
Yes.
cinnamon and vanilla and heat it up, and it's a treat, and you go to sleep.
I just have milk by itself.
That's good.
It's too much in the middle of the night.
But whatever medication you're going to come off, you definitely have to do it under a doctor's care. There are other sleep medications that are not as addictive as Ambien. Ambien, I've seen people taking Ambien, getting up in the middle of the night, having conversations with you, making food, and not remembering any of this kind of stuff. So to me, that's a worry. If someone's going to be taking that, who knows what they're going to do? What if they walk out of their house? What if they decide to get in their car and drive? You know, you just that's a concern to me.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
They
So
don't
we
remember?
so we don't prescribe Ambien. We have other drugs that we prescribe. I wouldn't suggest that for the elderly, just because they give you crazy nightmares, and the clients are always telling me about that. So I don't think that would be a good idea for them.
So do you tell them to use the 12-step program?
Yes.
What is the first step?
that your life has become unmanageable, and that you are powerless over alcohol.
They should admit to that.
And it's very hard for them to do that.
Really?
Because they believe that, well, I'm a functioning alcoholic, and I didn't lose my job, and I didn't lose my house, and I haven't lost my family, but it is unmanageable. I mean, it's, you know, you when you sit back and look at the behaviors that you have when you're drinking, the going to different liquor stores because you don't want someone to recognize you, the hiding the empty bottles in your closet because you don't want people to know how much you're drinking, the finishing everyone else's drink on the bar because you don't want to waste it, you know, those are alcoholic behaviors.
That's what I wanted to ask you. How can people find out, how can your friends know that you need help?
Well, if you're drinking a lot, if you're drinking 3, 4, 5 drinks a night, that's a problem. I mean, that's definitely, a glass of wine here and there I don't think is a bad thing.
2 glasses every night?
I wouldn't call you an alcoholic at all.
Not me.
No,
I mean, I'm
definitely.
not saying
But I mean, I'm saying that, you know, if people are, I had a neighbor that drank a lot, and, you know, he, all the time. If you're drinking in the morning, if you have to get up in the morning and you have the shake so bad that the only thing that's going to stop the shaking is to have a drink, and that's what happens. I had an ex-boyfriend that used to drink beer in the shower because he felt horrible in the morning, and that was the only thing that brought him back to normal again. So you have to watch those behaviors, watch how much alcohol is being bought, watch how much is being drank. If they're being secretive about it, that's another thing as well. You know, it's just it's something you have to be aware about, and I'm definitely hypersensitive to it. So
alcohol is the worst substance
it is
to detox.
Yes, because it can kill you, because it affects every single cellular structure in your body. You can have seizures. You can have. When I stopped drinking, I went to see a counselor. My blood pressure was super high. He asked me if I was seeing a doctor. I said no. And he goes, I want you to go to the hospital. I'm like, sure, I'll take my car. And he called an ambulance and took me there. And I was alcohol dehydrates you. So that's the other thing is that, and I'm like, well, I'm drinking Crystal Light and vodka, so I'm getting water. What's the difference? But it completely dehydrates you. And so if you're getting dehydrated from that, that's a bad thing. And you could end up having a seizure, and that could kill you if you're by yourself. So,
you know, I read somewhere that older people take they have ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
ADHD, and this is very addictive too.
It is what I call prescribed methamphetamine.
Yes.
Yes.
And I know I'm not going to mention an actress that I read about her, but she's so thin and she's addicted to that. I guess
it's prescribed methamphetamine. I mean,
and they give it to kids.
They give it to everyone. My son was. They tried to tell him that he was ADHD. Number one, a teacher should never tell your child that. and I was not going to put him on any medication. He's a boy, you know.
Yeah,
they're
I
boys.
know. Can you imagine
And
that?
if you are put on a medication like that when you're younger, you are more susceptible to becoming an addict when you're older. So to me, I don't want to say anything about teachers, but back in the day, I think a lot of the teachers just didn't know how to handle the kids. So let's medicate them, and then they're calm and they'll pay attention.
But isn't it something that those type of pills, for certain people, it makes them calm, and for certain people,
Exactly.
it makes them speed?
It's like Vicodin. So some people take Vicodin. If I take a Vicodin, I'm throwing up. I'm not well. But other people, it gives them energy, and they'll take like 10 of them, and they've got energy like crazy. I would be in a coma if I had done that.
Isn't it something?
Yeah.
Everybody.
So everyone's
reacts.
body makeup reacts differently to different drugs. So
That's really amazing.
yeah, it is very amazing.
So what's the second step? I mean, there are still a 12-step program.
You're going to make
What's
me
the
remember
second
all
one?
this right now.
I know.
I know.
There's something about calling somebody and apologizing.
No, that's the ninth. That's the 8th and the 9th step.
Oh,
so the 8th
really?
step is you make your list of amends. So you have the first 3 steps. You admit that you're powerless over alcohol, that a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity, and that you're willing to turn your life over to a power greater than yourself. Whether it's a God of your understanding, it doesn't have to be God. It's a higher power. The 4th step is doing a thorough moral inventory of everything you've done in your life, everything that you've done to anyone else, everyone that you have a resentment towards. You do a sexual inventory. You do all of that. Then you read your 4th step with a sponsor or someone that you trust, whether it's a clergyman, your sponsor. Once you do that, then you're ready to do your 6th step, which is looking at your character defects, which we all have.
Really?
None of us are perfect.
There's a thing like that?
There is a thing like that, yeah. And then I'm the 7th step. I'm totally drawing a blank on that. I can't even believe it.
I know.
That is terrible. I'm drawing a blank. The 8th step is making your list of amends. So that is what I would have people do is do 3 columns. You have a column of people that you are willing to make an amends to, and you're going to make an amends to them. The second column is these are people you're willing to make amends to, but if it's going to hurt them or hurt yourself, like let's say you slept with someone's husband, you're obviously not going to tell that person because that's going to hurt them. Or if it's going to put you in jail, you don't want to do that. Then there's that list of people you're absolutely not willing to make amends to. And that's okay too. The 9th step is actually making the amends. And you can make amends to people that have died. You can write them letters, you can take them to their gravesite and leave them there. You don't always get that I forgive you. It's just like, okay, thank you for doing that. You can't go into it with that expectation. You're doing it to keep your side of the street clean. The 10th step is taking a look at your day. Is there anyone that you've hurt during that day? Is there anyone that you owe an amends to? Is there anything that you've done wrong that you need to ask for forgiveness for? The 11th step is prayer and meditation, and then the 12th step is spreading the word to everyone else.
Really?
Because you have a spiritual awakening once you hit your 12th step, and the whole goal of doing the steps is being able to help other people. I mean, you're going through all of this. Someone else has been through it before, so you're able to help someone else that is starting anew. And in doing that, even if you have a lot of sobriety time, those newcomers are still going to help you too, because they're going to point out stuff that you maybe not have thought about before. So it's a good. I think everyone on the planet should do the steps.
How does it work? Like, how often do they do each step? I mean,
it depends on how. I mean, the first 3 steps can be done pretty quickly. The 4th step, I've had one client was given a month to do, and I said that's way too long. It depends on your sponsor, what your sponsor is telling you that you can do. I did a workshop where I did mine in 6 hours, and
really, all 12 in 6 hours?
Well, no, just the 4th step.
Oh,
just the 4th step. You want it the first year. You want to get through your 12 steps.
Oh, it's like a year.
Yeah,
to do
it could be, or it could take 6 months. It could take 4 months. It depends on how much work you want to put into it, how your sponsor wants to work with you.
Does it really help?
Yes, it does. When you think back at resentments that you have towards people, when you think back at people that you've hurt, when you think back at things, I'm talking to myself personally, when I think back at things that I've done that I'm not proud of, and to
like
be able,
what?
I'm not telling you that. No.
I'm just kidding.
Not telling you. That's a secret. That's between me and my sponsor.
Okay.
But when you do your 4th step, I sat with my sponsor on my bed and I read my 4-step to her, and I was like so embarrassed, and she's like, oh, that's nothing, I did way worse than that. And I'm like, okay, I don't feel so bad.
It makes you feel better.
You do, because you get all that
someone...
stuff that you've been keeping inside for so long, things that you're ashamed of and that you use or drink over because you don't want anyone to know. Once you get that, it's a freeing feeling to get that stuff out. And then when you make your amends to people that maybe you would have never done that for, that's a freeing feeling as well. You know, so it's good. It's a good thing to do. And I think this planet, I really believe that if we all did this, we would be a much happier place. I think we would.
Because a lot of people,
because we keep so much pain inside, and so we drink and we use drugs because we don't want to feel that pain.
Yes.
You know, when I've been through my father dying, I've been through relationships ending. You know, and you know, if I was drinking during that time, God knows where I'd be. You know, I don't know. So I'm really happy that I've done that, and that I'm able to talk to someone else about it. If I need to make a big decision, I call my sponsor. Is this a smart decision? No, it's not. Okay, thanks, bye.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You still have a sponsor?
Always. You always have a sponsor. I don't. In the beginning, I would talk to her every day. Now it's every few months. You know, if I need to talk to her about something, then I will.
Wow.
But yeah, you want to have that person.
So wonderful.
It is wonderful.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah, it is really good. It is really good.
That's very interesting.
So I really push that on the clients because I want them to work through all of their pain and all of their trauma that they've had, whether it's with their therapist, because they do see a therapist every week, whether it's with me or whether it's with their sponsor. And there's certain things I'm going to call your sponsor about that. Call your sponsor about that. Don't talk to me.
So who is paying for coming to your facility?
So the insurance, if they have a PPO insurance, you know, they can come to our facility. Some people come cash pay. The VA pays for the clients to come to our facility as well. You know, we provide food for them. We get haircuts. We pay for their sober living once they get out of residential. We have it's not our sober living, but we contract with another sober living company, and we pay for that.
Wow, the PPO pays for that?
Yeah.
I mean, what do they need to prove to the PPO?
Medical necessity. So if if they have major depressive disorder, if they are bipolar, if they have PTSD, if they have polysubstance use, which means they use a lot of different substances, if they have opioid addiction, if they have methamphetamine addiction, if they're alcoholics, any of that kind of stuff, they provide that kind of care for them.
So they go first to the doctor?
They come to us. We do an assessment with them on the phone.
Okay.
And we find out, okay, what are you using? Where are you at? Are you high now? When can you be here? We try to get you here as soon as possible. So within the first 24 hours, they go to the doctor. And then the doctor examines them, makes sure that they're medically cleared to be in our facility. We have had some that have mental health issues that we don't have. They need a higher level of care. So we're not just going to take anyone. We're not there to make them. I mean, obviously it's a business, but we're there to help people. So if we're not in a position to help someone that has severe mental health issues, we're going to refer them out to someone else. That's the smart thing to do, and that's the right thing to do.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if somebody wants to get off sleeping pills to go to your place?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be wonderful?
It would be wonderful. And they can.
Would they do it?
They can. If they're addicted to sleep, if they're addicted to any kind of medication, and I'm sure they probably have other stuff going on too.
Wow.
Yeah, so anyone can. Anyone can. It doesn't matter how old they are.
Doesn't matter how old they are, but if they're addicted.
If they're addicted to any kind of medication, yeah, they can come to us.
Really?
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes, it is wonderful.
Wow, because it's very hard to get it.
It is very hard, and Ambien is one of the most highly addictive, you know, sleeping pills. I mean, there's a lot of different ones that you can take, you know, that are better, but Ambien is one of the worst.
So if somebody wants to get off
sleeping pills, Ambien, any kind of pills,
any kind of pills,
have them call us. And I should have written my number here. So
they can. Well, you're going to tell us the number.
I'll have to look it up on the phone.
That's the end. Yeah. You don't remember the number.
I can give my number. I can give my work number. That's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, and they can call me on that.
Wow,
absolutely.
This is really interesting.
Yeah, it's a really great place. I mean, I love watching the clients that come in just completely what we call shot out, just skinny and looking bad, and watching them grow and change over the months and see the person that they're supposed to be. And recovery isn't about recovering from drugs. Recovery is about finding your authentic self, finding out the
Really?
person that you're supposed to be.
Wow,
That's what it's
isn't
about.
that wonderful?
Yeah.
And then they can really do something.
They can
with
do
their
whatever they
life.
put
I
their
mean,
mind to.
They can be an artist
Yes.
or whatever they want.
I have a client that left today, and he's enrolled in barber school and cosmetology school. So he's got goals, and you know, and
That's, you know what?
I
That's,
love that.
that's the key to
Yeah.
have a goal.
Yeah.
You know.
And we work with clients on helping them set up goals. What do you want to do when you get out of treatment? We help set up a discharge plan. We don't just say, okay, you're done by, you know.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah, we help them get jobs, the younger ones that need jobs.
Yes, yeah.
We do family counseling as well, if that's something that's needed. You know, we'll have families
Wow.
come in, so we offer a lot.
So what's the name of your place?
It's called True Vita Recovery.
Yeah.
And we're in Lake Forest, California.
Yeah.
And we have our main center in Lake Forest. We have houses in Laguna Hills, Laguna Woods, not Laguna Woods, Laguna.
It would be nice to have in Laguna Woods.
Maybe. Lake Forest. We have houses in Laguna Hills, Laguna Niguel, and Mission Viejo.
Wow,
Yes,
you
and
really
we-
help people.
We do.
Wow,
We've got
that's
5 case
wonderful.
managers and I believe 4 or 5 therapists that work there.
Wow, that's so wonderful that you can help people.
We have a nursing staff that works there as well.
Well, we're running out of time.
That was so fast.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
That was great.
It
Thank
was
you.
nice having you here.
Thank you. It was
Thank you
great
for
being here.
coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching, and next time we'll have another interesting guest. Thank you.